Assalamualaikum, we are from group 3. We are going to present our presentation about teaching English to young learners. First, definition of young language learners. Young language learners as those who are learning a foreign or second language in their first 6 or 7 years of formal schooling. In most countries, young learners are children in primary or elementary school between 5 and 11 years of age. Many young language learners are called bilingual learners since they are learning two or more languages. They might also be called foreign language learners in the case where they are learning a language that is seldom heard outside the classroom. Other young learners may be called second language learners. Second language learners usually come from a group with a minority language where most of their peers have spoken the language since their birth, or they need to learn the second language because that language serves as the formal national language. For example, Indonesian children who speak their mother tongue such as Javanese, Acehnese, and Bataknese learn Bahasa Indonesia as a second language and speak it at school. Next, second or foreign language learning at a young age. Children learn better without having worries and responsibility like adults as they get support from parents, friends, and teachers in learning. They have higher motivation and personal need to learn second language when they are surrounded by people who speak.
Effect of aging. The critical age hypothesis is part of the biological basis of language and states the ability to learn a native language develop within a fixed period from birth to puberty.
Problem teachers have in teaching. Number one is affiliations. Affiliation is defined as the teacher's need to establish and maintain good relationship with others in the school. This includes relationship with students, fellow teachers, staff, and administrators. Affiliation problems also come from an inability to interact effectively. Number two is control, which argue the teacher need to have students behave well or appropriately. Sometimes teacher might be mistaken when defining the term appropriately. They mean students should be reasonable, quiet, orderly, and honest, and they could show respect for others and for property. Number three is parental relationship and home condition. Teacher recognize the important role of parents and the condition in student homes impact school success. Many teachers who have participated in various surveys say that it's difficult to have good relationship with parents and to find out about and have a positive effect on home condition. Number four is student success. Student success is defined as the need teacher have to help learn both academic and social. Number five is time. Lack of time represents a serious problem for teachers. According to survey, teachers often do not have sufficient time to prepare for class, complete the planned work, and diagnose and evaluate learning. Research findings. The first one is reviewing the teacher preparation before teaching English. Design syllabus and lesson plan. The class observation and interview with the teacher and the headmaster reveal the combined two curricula in the teaching learning process, namely the national curriculum. Especially for teaching English, the syllabus and lesson plan design as well as the teaching material were based on both of KTSP and the base curriculum. The lesson plans were designed for each class meeting for each semester, and the complete syllabus and lesson plan were submitted to the headmaster in the advance for approval. The second is preparing teaching materials. The teacher adopts teaching material from the KTSP curriculum. Teaching materials sourced were textbook via Active English, a fun and easy English book for grades 1 to 3, and basic English skill, English activities for elementary school for grades 4 to 6. All the material in this Two books did not need any screening since they were all fit to the students' needs, needs and their culture, and the learning was fun and easy. These textbooks were provided by the school for all the students. The last is preparing teaching media. The English teacher also provide other media such as scribble, flashcards, and vocabulary cards. The principal revealed that to support the teaching learning of English, the school has provided media such as educative CDs, in focus, and a sound system that can also be used for teaching learning all other subjects.
The first is problem with curriculum, syllabus design, and lesson plan. At school-based Islamic school, English syllabus and lesson plan were oriented on the combination of KTSP and Islamic character curriculum. The teacher admitted that this combination gave her problems about how and where to put the character points in the lessons plan, as demanded by the Islamic character curriculum. This, she said, was due to the absence of a standard form of lesson plan from the school. The next is problem with students with special needs. The researcher also found that the teacher had problems with two autistic students, one in class 1 and one in class 3. These two students had learning problems such as difficulty in concentrating on study and writing, difficulty to focus, to understand the lessons, and to finish their tasks. They sometimes made noises by hitting their work table, carrying out screaming, and disturbing their school friends. The teacher tried to handle and help the student, but it cost a lot of time, and as a result, the teacher could not focus on the other student. The next is problem with noisy classes and student discipline. In almost all the classes, the teachers had problems with noisy classes and lack of discipline. Especially in the bigger classes, the students chatted, walked around, played, sang, laughed, came to friends' seats, and disturbed their friends. Realizing this, the teacher would get up and calm the class down. She would raise her voice and then lower her voice and then ask them to quiet down, to sit back in their seat, and to behave well. The researcher observed that the class started to get noisy when some of the students had finished their work early, so that they become bored waiting for the teacher to check the work of their friends, and that some students were not doing their work at all. So there was a mixture of diligent and of lazy students with nothing to do. The next is problem with catching the attention of students. The teacher also had problems with catching the attention of the students while the teacher was explaining the lesson. Some of the students did not pay attention. They chatted and laughed, spoke loudly, sat in the wrong order, and even did not to do their test. Knowing this, the teacher called them by their names, asking them to stop chatting, to pay attention, to do their work, and or to re, to re, to to re, to rearrange their sitting in the correct order. But they still did not obey her. The next is problem with classroom physical size. While observing the beginner classes, the teacher could not move around the class easily because the physical size of the classroom was too narrow, so most of the time the teacher just stood in front of the class. Sometimes she moved around the classroom, but she could not react the student sitting at the very back of the class. However, she continued to pay attention to the whole class. The number of students in each class was 25 to 27 students.
Based on the result of this study, there are several suggestions which are considered useful for the teacher to improve her teaching at school. There are as follows. The first, it is suggested that the teacher improve her teaching preparation by adding more teaching media, providing more varied teaching materials, and designing more detail into the lesson plans. The next is the teacher should use more varied teaching methods and techniques to avoid monotony in the classroom and to prevent the student from getting bored. In this case, the teacher should be more creative and find more interesting approaches for teaching English to young learners. The last is the teacher should upgrade her knowledge of teaching language to young learners. It is recommended that the teacher attend some teacher training seminars regarding the issues of teaching English for young learners. The training seminars usually present the latest issues related to English young learners. Improving the point of view, providing the techniques and methods solving problem found in English for young learners classroom and so on.